Okay, so now for the vlog. Well, the reason why I chose a sports bar to work at, first of all, y'all know if you've been watching me for years, I have come a very long way. I've come from not believing that we should be working because we're in the end times and it's completely pointless to um well, I've had jobs before that as well, but y'all know I used to struggle with social anxiety really bad, which I don't anymore. Ever since I did that self deliverance, I have not struggled with social anxiety. The most that I struggle with now is just like being self conscious, and that's just basic insecurities. It's not heightened like it used to be, so that's gone. But I have I have mixed feelings when it comes to working because I feel like only people who are spiritual and on the same ranking as me spiritually will really understand what I deal with on jobs and how the Jezebel spirit literally, a spirit just comes for me at every job. And I find it interesting. I've noticed that whenever I encounter that spirit somewhere, it's always like the time frame is like it's always, whether it's a job, like I always get hindered somehow. Like that spirit either uses witchcraft against me to get me to quit the job, or I get terminated somehow, or there's pressure, for somebody trying to do that for me or against me, and it's just the same spirit. And I experience this every time, and I'm just kind of really sick of it being successful. I do not like to say that like that because they really do not have that much power, but I've noticed that like the time frame, like I've never worked anywhere for more than 2 months, and I could honestly say that each time I have worked somewhere I have always been demonically oppressed, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere. I know it's that spirit that's just trying to keep me from just I mean, I'm sure it has several reasons why it does not want me just being successful in any area of my life, but I've noticed that it's always a 2 month mark. It's really weird. I don't know if there's any sovereign, significance with that as far as God's concerned, but also, I just found it very odd how I started that job May 18th at the hotel and I got fired June 18th. So now the craziness started to happen, and I really started feeling the witchcraft from that spirit, and it was just really beating me up like crazy. Like I had no peace. So, I mean, I already know. Like, it's just, I don't even really think it's necessarily where you are, although everybody at that place has left for the same exact reason and still are leaving. So it was not just me, but I think it just has a lot to do with my anointing. I think it's something that God's already told me before that it's kind of too late for me to just kind of. I've come too far. I'm on a completely different level than most people are in the spirit. I know too much, so that spirit's probably just gonna attack me for the rest of my life. I wouldn't even be surprised. So I'm just expecting to encounter and meet that spirit everywhere, and I'm 100% sure that it's gonna be in my new job. My thing is what I'm kind of struggling with. It's it's on a spiritual, not so much on a spiritual level, just on a natural level. Y'all know I've been very sheltered growing up, so I never got the opportunity to just kind of be around people and meet different personalities and stuff, and just really fellowship with people. I was always a homebody. I stayed in the house. I never really got to develop any real social skills. So my first few years like working and stuff, it was very uncomfortable for me. I had super bad social anxiety. I would not talk to people. I would just isolate and withdraw myself, and it literally felt like ants were in my head whenever I would be around people. I felt like they were constantly judging me all the time. They were always thinking something negative about me, or I didn't fit in, or I wasn't good enough for this particular crowd. If I was hanging out with people, I could not be around people without thinking that they are looking at me and thinking something negative about me. So I have to leave. I don't deal with that crap anymore. Thank God. But I will say that I'm glad that The person I have been for years is finally starting to just kind of blossom and just kind of burst out. I've always been an outgoing personality. I was that way ever since I was a little girl. I guess it just kind of got arrested as I got older because I wasn't as active as I was in elementary school. I used to be on the dance team in elementary school. I've always been a leader as a little girl. I've always been very smart, very brainy. Good grades, a lot of friends, just very popular. That's how I was in elementary. And then when I got older, it just kind of all that died down and the real me just got suppressed. So that's finally just kind of coming out. So I am glad that working at those places did help me to just kind of open up, be around people more and socialize with people more. I think I was talking about that in my other channel. It's helped with that a lot. And it's not really, let's say it's molding me, maybe spiritually molding me as far as, Christ being manifest in you is concerned. But no, my personality has always been the same. I just was not able to display that in front of other people. I've only been able to display that with people I'm comfortable with. I'm really goofy and just silly and loving and caring and just, I'm really loose. It's crazy, but I am. But no, now I was just saying though, like I'm happy that I worked at those places because now I see like I don't have to settle. Well, that's exactly what I was doing. I always felt that I was inadequate due to my social anxiety. It made me feel like I was very inadequate and I wasn't good enough for certain places. So I wouldn't try to work at Dillard's. I wouldn't try to work anywhere I really wanted to work. I would always settle for like part-time because I feel like that's all I could handle psychologically right now because I can't handle anything bigger than that. So I've definitely grown out of that. And especially after leaving that hotel, I was just like, okay, I'm really sick of being dependent on people to work certain places. And I just remember when I had that interview with her to work at that hotel, like I was happy that I got it. I was hoping to get it. I went there very humble and everything, but there was still this part of me that I felt was slightly dependent on her to give me the job. I really cannot explain it. And now that I've worked there, I see, Brandy, you're too good for this piece of crap place, for one. You're an amazing person. This is stuff that I have to tell myself, things that I already knew. But things like this just kind of help you see that. And that's exactly what it's done for me. You do not have to settle for these places just because you need a job. Go somewhere that fits your personality, where you want to be, where you can be happy, be yourself, be free, and still get paid. So that's why I chose a sports bar. Because honestly, that fits my personality. Maybe not the atmosphere wise, because obviously I don't drink or anything like that. But yeah, I see a lot of growth and maturity just in the sense that I don't have to settle anymore. I don't feel obligated to settle. I'm not intimidated by everybody that I cross paths with, especially in interviews. I feel like I can be myself. A lot of that comes from just knowing who you are and loving yourself. I didn't understand that at first. I always felt intimidated whenever I had to fill out an application. Like, I literally had just ants and pin needles all over my body, all through my mind. I could not focus on an application because I just felt judged automatically. And it was just questions on paper, and I automatically felt judged. Like, I'm not good enough. I have no skills. All that crap. So, no, it's just what I just experienced at that hotel. And just seeing how, in whatever areas I was wrong in, God already showed it to me. So, that part is already done. But just how, I wrote the letter to human resources and everything, and they didn't do anything about it. And it just kind of like, a lot of qualities about myself that I've been having just kind of stood out to me. And it's not that you don't have them or you're not good enough. There's just crappy people who just cannot acknowledge how great you are. And I finally saw that for the first time, and that is what kind of motivated me to really work somewhere where I want to be and not just settle because you need money or you need a job. I don't have to settle when I know how good I am. So it's just that kind of mentality for me now, which is, I believe that's a part of my development from the Father anyway. I think he's been wanting to do that with me because it's always been everybody else seeing who I really am, and I could never see it. So now I'm starting to see it, and I just don't care anymore. So I chose a sports bar. I'm excited to work there. I do want to ask y'all some questions, though. I've been trying to find YouTube videos on waitressing and waiting tables, or how much you could expect to make what a night or maybe a week, just suggestion wise. And I can't find it anywhere. So if any of y'all have ever done that, have ever been a server in a restaurant, if y'all could give me some ideas of how that works, that whole system works financially, I don't even know, because I'm so used to minimum wage and just knowing how much I'm gonna get every 2 weeks, something like that. So I don't even know. I don't know if it's different with every restaurant. I think they said they pay them $2.15 an hour or something, and I don't even know how all that works. I mean, yeah, I can find out when I start working, but I would gladly take some comments from y'all still, just to get an idea of what I'm getting myself into. Yeah, I was just bored. I've been very, very bored lately. And I'm kind of just, I feel like a lot of your growth, and I know a lot of us still got some religious paradigms when it comes to this. I was really, really, like, months ago, I would have never even thought about working in a sports bar just because there's liquor there. And I felt like since I was a Christian, I shouldn't be in an atmosphere like that, or clearly, especially not serving it to other people. Like, I'm helping you go to hell, basically, is how I felt about it. But I think the beautiful thing about God's sovereignty, a lot of Christians don't really know about God's sovereignty yet, and that's why I tell everybody to read the book Sovereign God by David Eels. It will blow your mind and completely change your life and just your perspective on life, period. But I think a lot of our growth is God delivering us from a religious spirit. And we condemn ourselves because he's taken us through all these different trials, and my thing is, if God didn't want you to be somewhere, I feel like he wouldn't allow you to be there. Yeah, we have a will, we do have a choice and everything, but God still has sovereign control over your life. If he really did not want you to be somewhere, I guarantee you, he could easily you wouldn't even be there. You wouldn't. I mean, he's the boss over this whole thing. So, yeah, a lot of my growth and maturity is just kind of coming from, I'm not that religious, self-righteous, person I used to be. In a lot of my older videos, my perspective and my paradigm has just changed over the years, and that's a good thing, because now you're free to just kind of be a light in wherever you are, and you're not really worried about you can't be in this place because they do this. Well, don't be in the world then, because the world does a lot of bad things that we don't know about. So yeah, I just kind of find it interesting how he's teaching me a lot of different things by allowing me to be in different atmospheres and different places. And I don't really know what to expect at this place, to be honest with you. I'm expecting Jezebel, which I need to definitely guard and just prepare myself for that, because them demons at that hotel just chew me up and spit me right back out. I was not ready for that crap at all. Like, that was so demonic, and that was the most toxic atmosphere I've ever experienced in my life. It's really, really bad. And it's really sad that it was that bad, but it is. So, it's kind of a mix for me when it comes to this new job, because I couldn't think of any other job that would fit my personality. I really wanted to be somewhere where I didn't feel like I was working. I'm a very fun, outgoing type of person. I like to be just kind of crazy and just free. And I want to talk to people, because people are fun. Whether they're saved or not, they're really fun. And I couldn't think of any other place that I could work. And I kept saying Hooters because I said a place like Hooters. I didn't mean like actual Hooters. Like, I'm not going to be dressing like that. I just meant like that environment. So I went to my cousin. She works at Twin Peaks, which is basically like Hooters, But she's not saved. So I went to her, and I was just telling her, I was like, because I love even Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is a really nice restaurant. It's just, I'm not about to be a server. First of all, I ain't that small, honey. I'll be busting out them clothes, even if I wanted to be carnal and dress, nasty like that. But no, I just really like the environment. I like how it's just really chill, and people can just kind of sit around and have fun. And you can talk to the people, and you just make your money. So she just pretty much made me a list of places, and she's been out. Like, she's been around. My cousin is the complete opposite from me. While I was sheltered at home, having a boring, miserable life, she was out, and she's 2 years younger than me. She was out as a teenager going to parties and raves and she's been a couple places, so she just pretty much gave me a whole list of sports bars that I could go to. And I thanked her. I called them, asked if they were hiring, and I drove to the one, which is the one I'm about to be starting. That was actually the first one I drove to out of all of them that I had on the paper. And one thing I really love right now is just I'm glad that my personality is finally starting to come out. Thank God. I just think it's a horrible thing when you're just such a beautiful person and you have the enemy just kind of like suffocating that through all these different strongholds and all these fears, and it's just ridiculous. And I'm glad that God just kind of broke me out of that through a lot of different putting me through a lot of different places. Even if they were just temporary places, he still used it to just kind of break off. He's slowly chipping off those strongholds. And I can honestly say for the first time in that interview, it was a very short interview. I wouldn't even really call it an interview, to be honest with you. But for the first time, I was not fearing what the person would read or how long I worked somewhere, and I didn't feel inadequate. I really was just kind of focused on selling myself, and that was it. I knew what I wanted. I know what I like, and this is where I want to be. This is the kind of person that I am. This is what I'm expecting. And I just pretty much told her, I don't want any crap. I'm really serious about professionalism. I love respecting people. I just want to be somewhere where I can serve people and have fun. And that was personally freeing to me because, like I said, that was not me a few months ago. I was always like fearing, oh my God, what do I have to put on the application? Oh my God. Like, I don't like lying either. That's another thing. I don't like lying about anything. But, yeah, I just wrote it and gave it to her and she read it, but I really wasn't caring about what she read. I mean, just pretty much told her, I showed her who I was, basically. So, yeah, and she gave me the job or whatever. And I'm just waiting for my background check to come back, like I told y'all, and she's gonna throw me into training and all that different stuff. But, yeah, I was just bored. But I guess that's why I started talking about how God, a lot of your development and your growth as a Christian is going to come from him just pulling you out of a religious spirit, because I don't know why Christians think like this, but we do, and it's really weird. Just because you're saved, you think that God's not going to put you in certain atmospheres where there's a lot of darkness or a lot of ungodly activity going on, but that's the whole purpose in you being here in the first place, is to be a light in those places, and it's everywhere. So it's kind of like, take your pick. Where do you want to be? You should see it as a blessing and not limit yourself just because you're a Christian. I mean, you can pretty much go wherever you want and God can use you in any environment. So, yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Yes, that's what I was saying. I got bored. I've been bored. Because I've been feeling like I'm limited of where I can work and what I can do just because I'm saved. And you're going to have a miserable life thinking like that. People may not be born again just yet. There may be a lot of things going on around you that are not of God, but you don't have to do them. But you can still have fun with people, and you can still love them and show them who Jesus really is through you. Because he was a friend of sinners in the first place. And that's pretty much what he did. That's how he got his crew. I mean, he went where they were. He ate with them. He sat with them. And he talked to them. And he was just himself. And if they wanted that light, then they stuck with it. If they didn't, you clearly see they walked away. So it wasn't even a situation where God had to beg them to stay and remain his disciple. People can see the light in you. I always say, your spirit can catch on to who somebody really is and how y'all feel about each other before any words are exchanged. Body language exposes everybody. Body language and vibes. So, you have the Holy Spirit in you. Even if you're not manifesting that perfectly in front of somebody who's not saved, they can still feel it because it's a spiritual shift. So if somebody doesn't want that light, they're not going to stay around you. It doesn't even have to be a situation where y'all have a conversation and something happened where they just don't really want to talk to you anymore. It's just a spiritual thing. It just happens naturally. If somebody does not want light, they can feel it because it's going to make them uncomfortable because they're contrary to what they're feeling. They're not going to be around you. Now, the people who God is granting to be around you, they can feel that light. Maybe they do like it a little bit. Not saying that they wouldn't be insulted or offended by it, because obviously there's sin in their heart. So they're going to be, like we all were, we're going to be convicted. But if they're sticking around you and they see that you're a Christian and you don't do certain things, or, you're different from them, but you're not really judging them about it, and they're still choosing to stick around you, those are the people I would focus on ministering to. Because that's exactly what Jesus did. A whole bunch of people left him. He had tons of people, like multitudes of people following him, and the majority of his followers left him. And we read that, and because we just stuck with the church story of the 12 disciples, we think that Jesus just had 12 disciples the whole time. No, Jesus had thousands of disciples. They left him. So, and he was left with 12. Now, he had more than that, but as for like apostle-wise, following him, it was 12. I'm sure he still had people that loved him and believed in him, that he did signs and miracles with and stuff. But yeah, so he pretty much, he practiced what he preached. Don't cast your pearls amongst swine. If they don't want it, they'll leave. You don't have to force them to leave. They'll leave on their own. And the ones who really do want that light, just focus your energy and your ministry on those people that are still there. Because why waste your light and your pearls on people who don't even really want the kingdom? You may as well just use it perfecting those who are already with you and been with you for a while. So that's just how I see that. But yeah, I've been really bored. Like, I don't do anything. And as a Christian, if you are under that paradigm, you feel like you can't do anything, and sometimes, like, you're religious if you have to question yourself as a Christian. What can you do for fun? Like, that's really sad. You mean to tell me the most freest people on this earth, who have been delivered from the kingdom of darkness, sinners have more fun than we do? And we just feel obligated to just be under this labor, this religious labor that we think is God. It's really not God. And if it is God, it's not his heart for you to just do that to the point where you can't even enjoy your life. He said he came to give you life in abundance. So you don't have to do anything that's contrary to his nature, that's not of him. But I was just like, I have to be in a different environment. I even went to the mall. Like, I went to the mall looking for a job, and I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, I love a lot of these stores. Like, yeah, I'll get some perfume from Dillard's. I'll get some jewelry from here. I love Bath and Body Works to death, but I don't want to work here, because the only thing that I'm going to be subject to is standing behind a register or walking around, depending on how big the store is, looking prim and prissy for you. And then I'm just going to count up your items and the merchandise and just continue to do the same thing for like 7 more hours. That's not me. So I purposely chose a sports bar because it's a lot of activity. It's fun. You can meet different people and you can be yourself. It's not as uptight. I'm not saying that there's no professionalism there, but it's just more laid back, It's just life, basically. And that's why I chose that. And I know that it's going to be a lot of darkness there. I chose it for that reason, too, because I told y'all with the hotel job, and I was watching that girl's video, God just kind of gave me peace about not being there. And he pretty much told me that he let me know he was going to be with me, regardless of what I chose to do, whether I chose to stay there or leave. Just because God's using a place to purge you. Because, yeah, one of y'all commented that on the video when I was sharing my experience working at that job. And I was just like, first of all, just because God is using a place to purge you doesn't mean that that's the only thing in the world that he can use to accomplish what he's trying to do in you. There's a billion different places on this earth. There's trillions of different people here. Just because you left one place doesn't mean that, you just slipped out of the Father's hand. You're just not a Christian anymore. You're just not his child. And there's just nothing else in the world he could possibly use to purge you and conform you into the image of Jesus Christ because you quit your job. It's just over. The trial that God prepared for you. Like, no, this has happened to me several times. This actually happens in the body of Christ a lot. There's a lot of things that God set out for us to do and we don't do it. Or for some reason it gets hindered. you just move on to the next trial. I mean, it's really that simple. Like, the comment was just dumb and I deleted it. But yeah, another reason I chose that is because like I said, I've been wanting to be purged and stuff, and you really do need, contrary to Jesus, to put you on the cross. And I already see working at that place that's definitely going to be done. Another reason I chose it is because it is so active, and it's a lot of different personalities there, just because the kind of atmosphere it is. I've never experienced that. Like I said, I've been sheltered for like my entire life, so I'm putting myself out there purposely to meet people and, talk to people, and not just get comfortable talking to them, but just letting who I really am just kind of blossom and just really come out. So I purposely put myself in that atmosphere because, especially what God's going to use me for in the future, I mean, that needs to happen anyway. At some point, you're going to have to break out of that. You can't be, I'm not going to say what it is, but yeah. So, yeah, I just purposely chose it for that. And plus, when I used to deal with social anxiety really bad, I would look up stuff online, because that's when I was really just like trying to take medication for it and stuff. And, they give you all these different pills for anxiety. They tell you to take it, like Klonopin. What was I prescribed? Was it Klonopin? It was something else. They tell you to just take it if you're around a large group of people or something that makes you uncomfortable, and it's supposed to relax you to the point where you can just be normal. And I would look up stuff online on how to overcome social anxiety, and honestly, they would just tell you the only way to really overcome that is to just do what you're afraid to do. If your fear is talking to people, then purposely go out and talk to people. That's really the only way you're going to overcome that. Don't do what I did. I was taking pills to deal with that, and the pills help, don't get me wrong, but first of all, as a Christian, you're not supposed to be dependent on drugs to do stuff like that. I mean, if anything, you should let the Holy Spirit just kind of manifest His peace and His nature through you, just kind of really just thrive off of the Spirit of God for those things. And I wasn't doing that. I was taking pills to deal with it, because pills, I mean, they make you feel good. And I don't know if any of y'all have ever taken pills before, but I actually used to take pills in high school, so those memories are still with me. People who used to be alcoholics and stuff, they remember what it feels like to be drunk. Okay, people like to feel good. So when I would take the pills, yeah, it did help me with my social anxiety. It allowed the real me to come out, just like a drinking would do. That's why they call it liquid courage. I don't know what it is about alcohol, but it really, I don't know if it's a chemical thing. It has to be a chemical thing, because you just get so much more comfortable when you're drinking. But yeah, I would just kind of take the pills, and especially for interviews and stuff, if I knew I had to be at work and I was just really frantic about how I was going to be treated that day, and it was just not good. I started taking the pills again, just to feel comfortable and just to be myself, and just in case you insulted me or hurt my feelings that day, I wouldn't feel it because I was on this medication. That's literally what I did. I mean, it got that bad. I was that miserable. So, but yeah, I mean, so even if you are on medication, I was just telling my friend this the other day, because she goes to see a psychiatrist and stuff, and she has a counselor, and she kind of deals with the same thing. And I just told her, she's doing what I used to do. She stays in the house all day. She does nothing. I said, for one, the enemy he's far and way too able to just work on your mind when you're just by yourself like that. The enemy will fill you with so many fears and so many things that's not even true about the outside world and about how people perceive you, that when you finally do step out and go into the world, that's your perception, and you're so scared to the point where you cannot even be yourself. You can't be a normal person. You can't function in everyday life because you spent all these years isolated in this room by yourself with Satan talking to you about stuff that's not even true. Only for your encounters of people to be awkward, but the only reason they're awkward is because you make them awkward. People don't even think about you that way until you give them a reason to. And I was telling her that, I said, the only reason you're really going to overcome that is, I said, first of all, just kind of, you got to present to the love of God. Because sometimes, not sometimes, the love of God, the Bible says that love casts out all fear. Anxiety and self-consciousness, all that is tied in with fear. It's just a different kind of fear. So I was just telling her, if you were to just like really press into the Father and just really, focus on your relationship with Him, all that stuff would really just cease. And I was telling her how it kind of fell off of me through my self-deliverance and stuff, and just getting out. And I noticed that whenever I go out with her, like, I don't want to say this because it's not mean, it's the truth. Like, it's really, really boring because she doesn't like to do anything. She doesn't like to work out with me. Like, I have no friends here. Whenever I want to go walk or just exercise, because we both need to lose freaking weight, she doesn't want to work out. She doesn't want to do anything. She just wants to stay in the house. And whenever I do get out of the house for like a few hours, and y'all already know I'm really silly and goofy, so whatever y'all see on my videos, it's like times 10 if you're with me in person. So I'm really crazy when I'm in the car with her. I'll try to like just pep up her day, and she's just really just like, she's so used to being in that prison. It's like she doesn't even know how to just get out and have fun. And it just reminds me of how I used to be years ago. And I would go out with people and they would ask me like, Brandy, you look so depressed. What's wrong? And nothing would be wrong with me. I just wasn't used to being out like that. And, yeah, I was just telling her, like, you're just going to have to just get out and do it. Because most of the stuff that you're believing about yourself is lies that people are thinking about you. And if they are thinking that crap, I mean, nobody cares. Who are they? The way I feel about that right now, and this may sound so morbid, but it's the truth, and you don't have to think this way, but this is exactly how I think. Ecclesiastes says that when you are in the grave and you're dead, you are no more. You don't remember anything. So why would I care about what somebody thinks about me? Every thought that's running through your head is going to be completely annihilated and go into a white noise and just black void when you die, and you're going to be in the grave, and then your opinions about me won't matter at all. So why would I care now when that day is going to come at some point? So I know that sounds really evil, but that works for me. Not in a way where like, oh, I want you to die. It's not like that. It's just thoughts are just thoughts. Opinions are just opinions. They shift and they change every single day. So I don't even care anymore. And I'm sure you can see that recently by the videos that I've been making. I don't care anymore what people think. But, so yeah, I purposely just kind of thrusted myself into that environment because I need to learn. I do not want to be 24 years old and still conservative and scared to talk to. Well, that's not even my real personality, and that's what's so ironic about it. I'm nothing like that. I mean, there are Christian women who are naturally just conservative. They're really just quiet people. I'm not. I've never been that person. So, yeah, I guess I just kind of just threw myself in there just to kind of, I guess, whatever's just thrown at me, I just have to learn to deal with it. And that's just how I see stuff now. I probably should have saw that years ago, but I didn't because I was just in so much bondage with the enemy whispering all this stuff to me. But that's just how I feel. I think it is crazy, but I'm kind of like halfway daredevil anyway. So I just do stupid stuff all the time and have these crazy experiences. But hopefully this is a better one. And, yeah, that's just my mentality right now. I'm excited. I cannot wait to start working there. Hopefully I catch on to everything a little quick. The only thing I'm really concerned about right now is carrying all that food and how I'm not going to drop it and how hot it's going to be. I've never understood how they were able to do that whenever they bring my food out. I don't get it at all. So that's pretty much the only thing. I'm going to take whatever I learned from this last place. Whenever God has taught me, I'm going to bring it into this one. Another thing I used to struggle with was I'm a very sensitive person. And I did a video about this with my job at the mall. Remember when I did that vlog and I had my little bandana scarf on my head and I was just crying because I was saying how my manager and my coworker didn't want to be friends with me and how I just wanted to love them. They wouldn't let me love them. And I mean, it's really just, it's a pure heart, but I just wasn't, like I said, I just wasn't used to people like that. So, and when you're sensitive like that, it causes you to just take offense and take a lot of things personal that really just should not be taken personal, that aren't personal at all. And if they are, like I said, who cares? So right now, I can already see just from looking at some of the girls, like they were not very welcoming to me when I went in that restaurant. And, I don't know. I've just kind of grown just to not look for friendships anymore. And I think God really had to teach me that, because there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. And like the kind of heart that I have is very, very tender and very sensitive, very loving. I have a big heart. I want to be everybody's friend. I want a lot of friends, and I just want to love you. And if I do love you, I expect for you to reciprocate that same kind of love, or just at least be receiving of the kind of love that I want to give you. When I don't get that, I don't know how to respond to that. And the father knew that, because I mean, the whole time I've been alone with him, he just kind of been prepping me, and I've spent so much time with him and not so much time in the world. So he sees like, okay, let me teach you how these wicked hearts are out here. Okay, just because you have me in you and you're just like me, they're not going to receive you. And you can read that, but I always say experience is a much better teacher than just reading is, and just knowing. You have to experience it for yourself. So now that I see that for myself, I'm not going to go into a new job expecting friends, whereas I did with the last place, because I just wanted to love people. Well, no. I know, it's so sad. It just sounds so horrible just saying it like that. But you have to guard your heart. That's what God is teaching me. You really have to guard your heart. People are wicked out here. Um, I mean, nobody loves anyone on this earth more than Jesus does, and even he said to dust your feet. So he used a lot of wisdom with what he said to people who he talked to. He even said that he didn't commit himself to every man because he knew the heart of man. That's in John. So that's kind of my little phase that I'm just entering into right now. Is well, when you're a Christian and you already have a sensitive, loving heart like that, every encounter for you is going to be personal, because you already have a personal love for people in your heart, even if you don't really know them that well yet. That's how I am. So, like I told y'all, I was only at that hotel for a month, and I was already going to get that coworker who God already revealed to me in dreams and stuff was just evil hearted. I was going to get her a birthday gift just because I saw that she struggled with rejection. I just wanted to show her love, but he completely blocked that out. I asked him if I should get it or not, and you see I'm not there anymore. And I think he caused something to happen where she disrespected me, and I was just like, nah, you ain't getting nothing. But yeah, when you're a sensitive, loving, tender heart like me, for those of you sensitive people out there, like I said, team sensitive, it's already personal for you. And it used to always bug me when people be like, "Oh, Brandy, you're so sensitive. Oh, you just take stuff personal. Oh, Brandy, you care too much." And I'm just like, they just make you feel worse, because you telling me that like something is wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. That's just the kind of person that I am. I just love people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting people to respond to you in a friendly or loving manner. They may not always do that, but don't make me feel like I'm inadequate or something's wrong with me just because I'm not like you, just because you can let stuff like that roll off, or you don't take stuff personal. Like, well, I do. I have a tender heart, so those darts are gonna hit me before they hit you. You know, everybody don't have the same heart as you. So, yeah, it's already personal for us, because you don't want to be somewhere where you have to worry about, or you feel like you have to defend yourself or put up this wall and avoid certain people that you work with. I mean, I think it's normal, especially as a Christian, that you're hoping to have a loving atmosphere, or at least have some type of just some type of just open ended conversations, or of a work relationship with the people. You don't want to just treat them the way they're treating you because they're not saved and they don't like you for some reason. I hate stuff like that. I don't like feeling obligated to treat you outside of my character just because of how you feel about me. So that's something I honestly have to learn, and to be honest with you, I don't know how to do that yet. Which is why I said I purposely thrusted myself into this type of job, because I have to learn how to deal with people. I've never had that opportunity, so I have it now. I need to learn it fast, and I guess I'll just have to put the word of God in my heart a lot more, as far as how do you deal with people like that? How do you deal with people when You want to love them and show them the love of Christ, but they don't want nothing to do with you. They don't like you. They don't want what you have to offer. Like, how do you treat those people? I don't know. So this is going to teach me. So, pray for me concerning that. If y'all pray for me anything about this job, please pray against the Jezebel spirit. She always gonna try to screw something up. Just pray that that stuff doesn't get to me. I know that spirit's gonna use people there to try to break me down again, because that's just what that spirit does. And I know it's gonna be everywhere I go. It just follows me everywhere. So please pray against the Jezebel spirit if you want to pray anything for this new job. Pray that while I'm here, God just kind of teaches me how to just deal with people. Because that's like my only issue. It's not that I can't handle it. It's just kind of, I don't really know how to respond. So I may not always respond in the right way. It's confusing to me. So pray for that. That God just gives me guidance and wisdom, divine wisdom on how to deal with each and every person. So it'll just be an easy, easy job for me. Pray that I don't take stuff personal, and because like I take stuff home with me. When I get offended by somebody, that affects me internally. It breaks my heart. It hurts my feelings, and then, yes, I do take that home. And I don't want to be somewhere where just because you said something ugly to me, or I know that you don't like me, I have to come back to work. And like I said, I'm a Christian. I don't want to have to put up this wall with you. I'm a Christian. I shouldn't be putting up walls with anybody. It's ridiculous that we do that. We should not be doing that with people, but we do. So, pray that God just perfects his love in me for people while I'm here. Even if he does it through them hurting me somehow, that's completely fine. As long as love is produced through it, I'm completely fine with that. Because now I'm going to be able to deal with you and endure all that horrible demonic crap that you have to spew out, but still have my heart guarded with the love of Christ, and I'll still be able to distribute that to you, and not in a defensive religious way, genuinely, So pray for that. And please pray that I get tips. Oh my God. I was watching so many videos on YouTube a few minutes ago, and it's just so many waitresses. Like, everybody has a vlog ranting about how much waitressing sucks. I'm like, that's not what I need to see right now. So what I was going to do, I was just going to pray sovereignly every day that God just touches and turns that person's heart to give me how much the Father wants to give me that day. And I'm just going to leave that completely in God's hands. If it's a little that day, that's fine. That was God's will. And if it's a lot, well, that was God's will too. So that's what I was going to do. And that way you can it's in the Father's hands, how much you make that day. That's what I was going to do. And you can just spend the rest of your time focusing on enjoying your job. And as far as my job and spiritual layout, I've already decided and planned all of this out in my head. Each day before I go to work, I'm definitely going to assign angels around that entire place. Everybody who walks in and everybody who walks out is leaving with an angel attached to them. And I'm going to pray that the Father especially draws these people unto repentance and salvation, and that he reveals himself to them until the day they die. So when you come into this restaurant, as long as I'm working here, you're getting saved somehow. It may not happen right away. It may not happen at all. But you're going to leave with an angel attached to you, because that's what they're going to be discharged for. And as for serving liquor, I was like, you know what? I'm not comfortable serving people liquor. So what I'm going to do, and it's so funny because Jesus gave me this image in my head. His first miracle was turning water into wine, right? And he blessed a whole bunch of people at that party, at that wedding. He gave me that because I wasn't even thinking about this when I said it or was thinking it. I said, I'm going to supernaturally pray that Jesus turns all this liquor in this place into his blood, and that somehow when they drink this stuff, I'm going to bind the spirits that's attached to that alcohol, so that even when they drink it, it may affect your flesh. You may get a little tipsy or drunk, and all that good stuff. And I'm going to protect and guard their spirit. I'm going to pray over their spirit and their soul. And I'm going to pray that Jesus turns that liquor or anoints it to where it was his blood. and that they leave with a touch of him. So everybody that's getting drunk, well, you get in touch. You're going to be drunk in the spirit too. So I've already planned all my prayers when it comes to this place, because these are souls that need to be saved. And we have our own individual personalities, but if you're really a child of God, you love these people. Somewhere it's in there, maybe under a little bit of debris, but I was thinking about that. I said, he loves these people. I have to find a way to protect them and guard them when they come in, and that's the best way I can do it. And God's already shown me in dreams and stuff, when you pray detailed prayers like that, he actually does every single thing that you ask him to do. So he'll do it. Even if you never read it before, he will do exactly what you detail. So that's what I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray over the liquor, and I'm just going to turn it into the blood of Jesus pretty much. I'm going to pull a Jesus magic trick, and everybody's going to leave anointed and touched, and you're going to have an angel of God attached to you for the rest of your life, drawing you to Jesus, and hopefully you get saved. So thank you for visiting us. And that's going to make my job a lot easier, because now instead of serving you liquor, I'll have it in my mind that I'm really serving you the blood of Christ, and that's going to give great customer service on my I'm serious though. That's what I'm gonna do. But that's it.